So here now, joining me exclusively on this story tonight after hours of questioning today, Corey Lewandowski. Corey, good evening. Good to see you tonight. You've had a busy day. How did you think it went?
You know, look, I think I reiterated what the American people already knew. There was no collusion. There was no obstruction. The Mueller report was very clear about that. And what we know is that the far left wing of the Democratic Party has to have these hearings to protect themselves in their congressional districts from further left progressives who want to take them out in their primary races. This is all politics. And the truth is, it's a disservice to the American people.
Why did you decide to go? Did you feel that the subpoena was, that you had to because of the subpoena?
Look, I've always said I will come and answer questions. I've spent more than 20, maybe 25 hours answering questions before the House Intelligence Committee, the Senate Intelligence Committee, the Special Counsel's Office. I have nothing to hide because we never committed any crimes at the campaign. We never colluded with anyone, which is exactly what the Mueller report says. So I was happy to go, but then they decided to issue me a subpoena. And then last week they changed the rules of the House so that not only members of Congress could ask me questions, but consultants to the committee who were brought in just for the impeachment proceeding could then start asking questions. It's a very unfair process.
All right. Jackie Spear was on CNN today, and she believes that because of your appearance today, you should be fined. Watch this.
If I were Mr. Nadler right now, I would be slapping Mr. Lewandowski with an inherent contempt order and calling him in front of the House of Representatives and fining him.
What do you say to that?
I've never, look, maybe that's happened before. I've never heard of somebody being fined after going in front of Congress. Hey, why don't you go and bring Jim Comey back, who we know has perjured himself in front of Congress? Why don't you take the opportunity and have a testimony with Michael Horowitz, who wrote the Inspector General's report? Why don't you fix the problem of illegal immigration, which is, killing Americans because they're coming across the border illegally? These are actually the obligations of the House Judiciary Committee. But instead they want to bring me forward, and Jackie Spear wants to fine me for what? Coming to Congress and testifying in open Congress under oath? Yeah. I'm happy to do that.
So this is part of the testimony when Representative Hakeem Jeffries brought up the fact that you are interested in running for Senate in New Hampshire and suggested that maybe that was why you were there. Watch this.
This is not a Republican primary campaign. You are not on the campaign trail yet. This is the House Judiciary Committee. Act like you know the difference.
Look, I was subpoenaed to show up. This wasn't like, hey, Corey Lewandowski is going to launch his U.S. Senate campaign in front of the House Judiciary Committee. Nobody's ever done that before. But what the congressman failed to articulate was I was compelled by a lawful subpoena to show up today, and that's what I did.
So you did tweet, though, thank you at Real Donald Trump. No collusion, no obstruction. The American people know it. And I'll continue to remind them, hashtag Senate 2020, hashtag stand with Corey.
Well, hey, by the way, there's nothing wrong with still having the right of freedom of speech. And, they can have the opportunity to rake me over the coals for 4, 5, 6 hours, maybe, to remind the American people what I already know and have always said: there was no collusion, no obstruction. I think the people of New Hampshire deserve new leadership, and I'm going to make a decision very soon if I want to run for the U.S. Senate.
All right. So the core, just to go to the core of the questioning, they really focused on the president's request to you to have a conversation with Jeff Sessions about removing Robert Mueller, which you say you never ended up doing, correct?
That's right. I've never met with Jeff Sessions to relay that message.
Why didn't you?
Well, look, because I went on vacation, because it wasn't a priority, to be honest with you. And so, and I said this in the committee. The president asked me to go have a conversation with Jeff Sessions, is basically what's in the Mueller report. I testified to the fact that I believe that to be accurate, and then I just never did it. And so they want to talk about what may have transpired had I spoken to Jeff Sessions. But it's all speculation because I never had the conversation. So what is there to potentially talk about?
I mean, it looks like, and this is, let's play Representative Hank Johnson here on this line of questioning. Watch.
You felt a little squeamish about delivering that message, correct?
No, sir.
Well, why did it take you so long and you never even delivered it?
Correct. I never delivered the message.
Yeah, you chickened out.
I went on vacation.
You went on vacation.
That got a lot of laughs.
Well, it's true. Look, it was the summertime. My kids wanted to go to the beach, and so I took my kids to the beach. I mean, they make it seem like this is this big nefarious idea. We went to the beach for 2 weeks. We went up to Maine. We had fun in the sun, right? That's what we did. Big deal. I mean, look, maybe Congressman Johnson has never been on vacation. I'm not sure. But when it came to the family, I decided to prioritize them over a potential message to Jeff Sessions.
So, I mean, I guess regardless of what the president wanted to achieve by asking you to do that, you never did that. And it also, I think, bears reminding people that the president never did fire Robert Mueller, and that at the end of the investigation, Robert Mueller said that it was never impeded.
It's such an important point. You've articulated what's so important. Mueller had free reign all the way through his investigation to conduct it in any way he wanted. Neither the acting attorney general, the deputy attorney general, or the current attorney general attempted to impede the Mueller investigation in any way. And Bob Mueller testified to that. And that's a very important point.
When you look at this, you step back. You're a former campaign manager for the Trump campaign. Look at the political optics, as we like to say, of all of this. How do you think their pursuit of this plays for them with the American people politically? And how do you think it plays for President Trump that this is still being pursued?
Well, the American people don't want this. Your polling data just showed that. And what we do know is if the Democrats in Congress and the majority of the House of Representatives had enough votes to impeach the president, they would have already done that. But it's only 1/3 of their caucus that's supporting this, which is basically the same amount of the American people who support this. 65% of the American people know what I already know. The president didn't commit any crimes, didn't collude with any foreign entities, and didn't try and stop the Mueller investigation. So if he's guilty of something, it's of putting America first. And if that's the case, then he's absolutely guilty as charged.
Yeah, I mean, there's also a report this week that shows that the FBI's communications have been, interfered with over the last several years in a really shocking way. And I can't help but think what kind of time and effort, if it had gone into that angle of this investigation, might have, sort of actually brought more fruit in terms of keeping the country safe. But we'll see. Corey, thank you very much. Good to see you here tonight.